Welcome back, everybody,
Welcome back to the podcast.
to the podcast. Dana, you look fantastic today. I like the way you did your hair. You're welcome. You look like you want to punch me. Do you think that other wives out there want to punch their husbands as much as you want to punch me all the time? Or is that just like strictly me?
I don't know. I can't speak for other wives.
That's fair, I guess. Well, we could take a poll, see how many other wives enjoy punching their husbands. But, it's not.
I don't actually punch you, just for the record.
Yeah, I know. You just say sometimes that you would like to punch me. And I think that that's because I annoy you, but I would bet that most other wives get annoyed by their husbands just as much as you get annoyed by me.
I don't know. I can't speak for other wives.
Do you think that marriage is different than dating in the regard that
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the regard that what?
Well, I feel like I'm in your mind. I'm a lot more annoying now than I was when we were dating.
No, it's not that you're more annoying. I'm just more exposed to you. I think that part of our current situation is that we have very limited time together because you work a lot. And then when we are together, it's just the classic, you also have a toddler with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to talk to each other, most toddlers want to talk too. So we can't really have a full on conversation as per normal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a saying? No. So I think that that's number one. And then the time that we do get together is just, to me, very overwhelming because we have to like catch up on all the things that we want to talk about, plus catch up on like housework and life stuff and errands. And God forbid we want to do something fun and then like do the podcast. So we just have a lot to do in a little bit of time, and just generally that stresses me out.
Yeah.
And makes me overwhelmed. So, and then I think just with less time together, our communication lacks because there's just so much more time apart than what we're used to, I think.
Yeah. Do you think that I'm just trying to formulate this thought, because I feel like this is a fun topic and it's very interesting to me just how you view things, and I kind of just wonder if things would be. Do you think things would be a lot better if I could just spend all day every day with you? Or do you think that would just exponentially annoy you that I'm around all the time?
Well, it depends on what you mean by around, because now that we have a toddler, it's like oftentimes when we are together, we're like ships in the night where we're not actually together, but it gives
like
the
passing.
other person, yeah, that's what ships in the night means.
Okay.
It's like one ship's coming in, the other one's leaving.
Yeah.
And then you're just passing.
I know.
Okay. So that frees up more time for me to get something done, but it's not like we're necessarily hanging out. But I think when you're around more, it evens out that scale a little bit of what we're each getting done.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it feels like it's really hard as a mom to get anything done. That's not just, like taking care of your child, which is obviously very important. You're forming a whole entire human on how to be an earth dweller, but and beyond, I guess. But yeah, it's just hard because your whole life you've been just like a regular person out in the world doing the things that you do, and then all of a sudden you have this tiny human, and now you can no longer do anything really without permission, kind of. because like if I want to go do something, like even go upstairs or to the bathroom or like accomplish a task just within the home, I still have to like task you, make sure that we communicate about who's watching
Mm-hmm.
our child. So it's just weird. I don't know. I think a lot of moms go through the experience of, you obviously love your child and you would, like, you don't want to go back in time. That's not it at all. But it is a lot to go from just being one person who does whatever they want to do pretty much to then like reverting kind of and being needing someone else's like check off on everything that you're going to do. And I don't think you really see it coming. Like, obviously, if you're pregnant, you're like, okay, I'm gonna have a child, things are going to change. I remember when I was pregnant, making jokes all the time when I was out and about, like, oh yeah, it's really easy to take her places now. It's gonna be so much harder in the future. Uh, and it's true. And I made that joke knowing that obviously after she's born, it's going to be different and more challenging in that way. But you don't really know. And so I don't know. I think just figuring out the new like relationship that you and I have and this whole new world that you experience becoming a parent.
What do you think the number one thing is that like changed for you, but from going from being like just a normal person to then being a mom? Like what do you think is the number one thing that changed the most for you?
Number one would probably be literally everything, Isaiah.
Stupid
I
question.
I think no, I don't know. For me, like we met when I was what, 28, 28. And so I was a strong and independent woman
Mm-hmm.
living out in the world cuz I was single, like no, not a long-term relationship for a while, like several years. Like I would date people here and there for a few months and whatever. But someone that I committed a big piece of my life to for an extended amount of time, like that was probably, I don't know, maybe 4 years earlier. And so, yeah, I guess I just figured out how to be a strong and independent woman out in the world and to like how to exist on my own and make my own money and like just do all of the things by myself for myself. And then we got married and then had a baby. And now it's like a lot of that changes where before I was like single and I don't know what I'm trying to explain here. It just changes so much. I think I feel like I'm just rambling and talking in circles and not. And it's not negative. It's just a lot. I think when you're single like I was, I obviously liked being in relationships, but I like was heartbroken after my long relationship ended. But then once I like found my single groove, like I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I would date, like I dated a lot. But it was fun to me. Like I would meet up with people, and so I was like meeting new people all the time. And obviously, before I met you, like it didn't work out long term with any of them, but it was still like I thought it was so cool to just meet tons of different people, and like I made lots of different friends that way. And so I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought,
I think
but
that's part of motherhood, is losing your train of thought.
yeah, that's definitely part of it. But I think it's just like, I don't know. You're so used to like fending for yourself, and then you become a mother, and now, like I said, like you have to ask permission to like do everything. And it's not really asking for permission, but like you do have to communicate with someone else about like even the most simple things just to make sure that your child is safe and taken care of. It's not like, oh, Isaiah, can I go to the bathroom? I mean, I do have to ask that, but usually she just comes with me. But, it's just so she's still being taken
Cared
care
for.
of. Yeah, and she's not just abandoned. So it's not bad. It's not negative. It's just a complete shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm used to just doing whatever, like owning my own life because I had to. And you also don't know when you're going to meet someone and get married to them. And so you just kind of get into this mindset of like, this is what I have to do. Like, no one's coming. Like, I am my own Superman. I got to figure it out. And then when you get married, I think that's a whole conversation too. Like, that changes a lot. And I think it's very different for people who like were high school sweethearts, or like college sweethearts or whatever. That's very different. But if you are single for a substantial period of time, like not with just one person, then you develop, or at least I developed, my world view. And then that changed with marriage, which like is still something that I am figuring out. And then with a child, it changes again.
So you're
So,
dealing with a lot of change.
yeah.
How did your worldview change when we got married?
Um, I mean, I'm with you.
Oh,
No,
big change.
I mean, again, I'm just, when I was single, like I was dating a lot, meeting a lot of people. I historically have had just a lot of male friendships.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up only having brothers. Most of my cousins are boys. My neighbors were boys. Like, I just kind of grew up as a guy's gal,
Yeah.
a guy's girl, a girl's guy. Like, oh my gosh, no. When I was a kid, though, I had a paper route with my brothers, and I was like, I don't know, 7 or something at the time. And there was this old guy who lived in a house, and we were delivering his paper, and I accidentally said like that I was my sister's brother or something. Like, I mixed up, instead of saying like, oh, I'm his sister, I like said I'm his brother or something. Like, I mixed it up like that, just being
Uh-huh.
a little kid. And this old guy like laughed at me. Maybe I've
Mm-hmm.
already told the story, I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, he straight up like laughed in my face at me and made me feel so bad as like a little 7-year-old. And I was just like, even at that time, I thought, that's really weird. Like, I just made a tiny little mix up of words
Sure.
because that's all it was. And this guy laughed at me. Like, you're an adult. Shouldn't you just, that's mean. Don't like laugh at a young child's easy mix up of
It
words.
is interesting because I have noticed this before. Not I can't remember any specific instance, but when a little kid is like coming to talk to you about something, and they might say something that's very funny to you because you understand the differences and the nuances,
Yeah.
but then they look at you like very confused, like, why are you laughing? Like, what's funny? I
Yeah.
don't get it. Like, I'm trying to communicate something to you,
Yeah.
but you're just laughing at me. And that is fascinating to me. Just what kind of awareness can you have to? I mean, I don't think you need to like coddle children or anything. I mean, but at the same time, like, still just try to be patient and understand them in a way, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so back to your worldview. How'd your worldview change when we had a kid?
Well, I don't think I ever finished the marriage one.
Yeah, that's
So, yeah, I don't know. I just grew up being around a lot of guys, and I had a lot of guy friends. And so I was in a relationship at one point, a long-term relationship, and it was like a thing where we broke up and then we weren't together, but it was kind of like on the rocks, whatever. And I met this other guy at a bar,
mm-hmm.
and it was like the night after I had broken up with my boyfriend or whatever. And then my ex-boyfriend and I were back together at one point, and that other guy called me, and he was like calling me, I don't know, I can't even remember what it was for, but it was just really bad timing where I like just ignored the call. And then my ex-boyfriend, boyfriend, whatever he was at the time, he like saw it and asked questions. So I like told him like, oh, it's this guy that I met. And like I went to the bar for his birthday, but really I just hung out with my friend that I went with. And like I didn't know this guy because I had just met him like at the bar a few nights
Sure.
before. And literally like gave him a hug and that was it. Then I had a drink with my friend that I came with and then we left. Like just there was nothing there. But because he called me like at the wrong time, then it gave my boyfriend he was my ex-boyfriend, the wrong impression. And he like went down this rabbit hole, thought I cheated on him, even though like technically we were broken up. But it was one of those things where whatever, it's kind of dicey. But I didn't. Like I literally nothing happened. I like probably had a paragraph's worth of conversation with this guy total. But then it became this thing where like I had to try to defend myself, but the more I was defending myself, like the more guilty I looked. So then I was just like, I'm between a rock and a hard place here because the more I defend myself, the guiltier I sound, but I genuinely didn't do anything. This guy just called me at the wrong time. And so it was in that moment where, and this was like my ex-boyfriend was someone that I really loved and cared about. And I was like, I didn't do this thing that you're accusing me of. And just how, and I've been cheated on, not by him, but by other people. And so I know how that feels. And so for him to feel that, and for me to like really have no way to communicate, like, no, genuinely, I did not do that, whatever. I just did not like being in that situation, even though I didn't do anything. It was just like, even if the other person thinks and like all of the like, evidence is kind of there for it, and it's just your word against the like things that you can bring to the table. So with that in mind, years before I met you, after we got married, I was like, I don't want you to ever, like, I'm never going to cheat on you, obviously, but I don't want to like go through that again where it looks like maybe I did or I could have. And so after we got married, my reaction, or like my, I don't know, whatever pathway to like avoiding that with you, was kind of just like excommunicate all men. And not completely, but
But that's like what most people I think would do. It's just like excommunicate all men.
yeah. But then for me, like my whole life, having a lot of guy friends and being surrounded by guys just platonically for a lot of those relationships, I think that was weird for me. And it kind of like made me feel like I had to box myself into like a box that I created. So that's my long answer.
Yeah. Good answer, but also you don't have to box yourself in like that either. Like I don't mind. I don't mind if you have male friends. I mean, and I trust you enough, and
Enough. Enough.
I mean, for real though, I trust you. I'm not worried about it. I'm very secure in, the relationship.
Yeah.
I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, I know, but it's still different though. Like I wouldn't just like go meet up with new guys. So it's like a big shift in that way. And just to preface this for people listening and watching, we did not date for very long. So most people are like, why are you talking about this in marriage? Like, shouldn't you be used to that? Yeah, we dated for what it was like
3 months before
No.
we got engaged.
It was like I think 14 months total.
Yeah.
Between like meeting and getting married. So
would have been a lot quicker if I had anything to say about it.
Yeah. So that's why it's like, why are you dealing with this still, Dana? You're married and you have a kid. Yes. But
What is it, baby mama drama? That rhymes better than baby daddy drama.
oh, it did not sound like you said drama.
Oh. What did it sound like I said?
I don't
Oh. Well, I mean, I appreciate you. You're a very very much an open book, and it's I love having conversations with you about things because I think you have a fantastic brain and how it works. Um, that was one of my biggest things when I was looking for,
Yeah.
for a relationship. I never thought I'd have a cat, but you came with the cat, so I had to keep her.
I came with the cat.
Yeah, I literally said when we were right when I met you, I was like, "Fuck, man, this girl's got a cat."
I think you meant the cat came with me.
Yeah.
Unless you're planning to adopt Annie and I just happen to be your owner.
No, that wasn't the plan because I'm not a big animal person. I don't mind them, but I was like, shoot, dude, this girl's got a cat. I'm gonna have to deal with that. And I do remember I had a conversation with you, like, are you gonna get rid of the cat when we get married? And you were like, no.
I'll get rid of you.
Yeah, I know. You literally said that, and I was like, oh shit, dude, I'm gonna have to take the cat with the girl. But Annie's great. I love her now. Took a long time, but we're cool. Wouldn't trade her. But no, I mean, one of my big things was I want somebody who can communicate with me well and who talks to me and is interesting. And like last night when you were showing me those videos that you sent me on Instagram, I was just like, dude, I made such a perfect decision. Like you, you're so much fun to talk to.
I think I'm too honest for you. I don't think you'll like it.
No, I think it's really good. Like I need that extra bit of honesty because I don't want somebody to bullshit me. And you've helped me make a lot of changes that have made me grow in a lot of ways that I would not have been receptive to with somebody who is not as challenging or as honest as you are. Because I'm a strong personality. I don't like authority very much. I don't take criticism super well. Let me rephrase that actually. I didn't take criticism super well before you. After meeting you and understanding more about myself and how I can get a lot of benefit from criticism, that made me change and appreciate criticism a lot more. Like the criticism's not, it doesn't have to be an attack. It can be, hey, this is something that can help you grow because there's a bigger, better version of you on the other side of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that makes, our marriage exactly what I wanted it to be. It's somebody that I can grow with because, when you're growing up, people always tell you like, oh, when you need to find somebody who's going to make you a better person. And that's like, for me anyway, that was kind of hard for me to like figure out what that looked like. And I still don't think I knew what that looked like when I met you. But then, going through the past couple of years of marriage, I've really enjoyed it's been difficult at times, but I've really enjoyed the benefit that I've gained from your criticism. She's just a love bug.
She is in a mood.
Yeah, she is.
Where is your little ball? She wants to play with that.
Let's take a quick break. And we're back.
And we're back.
One last thing I want to say on that real quick is that, even with yesterday, I recorded the podcast with Henry yesterday, and I was nervous the whole time leading up to it, and you gave me the criticism that I needed and the opportunity to grow in a way that I wouldn't have had otherwise. Like I wasn't going to get there on my own. And I'm really, really thankful for that. And you've done that in many ways for me.
Yeah, I think that naturally, well, I don't know if it's naturally or learned, but I am, but I don't have a lot of kids outside. Okay, what was I saying? I think that I'm try to be very honest in our relationship and tell you things that you don't necessarily always want to hear because I just when dating, I've talked about this before, but dating when people are like trying to play games and like I'm gonna pretend I don't like you so it'll make you like me more and like it's just so stupid. It's so stupid and confusing and I'm like, I don't get your stupid games. Like I could never be a drug dealer because you have to like It's like, do you have the drugs? And they'd say no. And I'd be like, okay. But really, they meant, like, yeah, I have them, but they're just like in the truck or whatever. I don't read between the lines. Like, I'm not picking up what you're trying to put down with this, like, read between the lines thing. So I need someone to just say it how it is. And I don't want you to be a jerk, but I also don't want like sugar coated fluffy duffy. I just have no space for that. And so I know that my approach, and especially after becoming a mom, like, I just don't have the bandwidth to be like, how can I package this criticism or feedback in a way that won't hurt your feelings? Like, I just have no space for that. So I'm sorry, because I know that I'm very abrasive sometimes in my approach. So I should work on that. But right now, in this season of life, my cortisol is high, and I just don't have a way to figure out how to tell you in a gentle way the things that I have to say. So I don't. I just go for it and I just tell you. And then if you don't take that feedback into consideration, then I tell you again and again.
You get your point across until you get a solution. That's for sure. You're very tenacious in that manner.
Hey, when I played soccer in high school, my coach used to call me Tenacious D, which is a reference to the 80s, something in the 80s. But I didn't even know what tenacious meant. So I had to like look it up. And then I thought, wow, what a compliment. I have a lot of tenacity.
That's good.
Yeah.
I also was called tenacious when I was a kid, but now it just sounds like I'm copying you.
Yeah, but your name doesn't start with D, so it doesn't have
No,
the
I
same
wasn't called
effect.
Tenacious D. I was just called a very tenacious young man.
Actually, now that we're speaking about what people have called us, one of my bosses when I was in college, she said, I really like your candor. No, I'm like,
Candor.
candor. Now I'm second guessing myself. Um, Candor. Yeah, and I had to look that up. Okay. So I don't sound like a total idiot. I I love learning new words because I feel like my vocabulary sucks. And so whenever I hear a word that I don't know, I look it up and then I try to remember to use it. And I used to, when I lived with my best friend in this teeny tiny apartment, I had a little notebook and I used to write I used to write down these new words. Like if I was reading or something, I'd come across a word and I'd write it down and then I'd look up the definition and write it down. And I kept that in this little notebook. And at one point, I can't remember what the situation was, but I had my self-made dictionary out. And my best friend of since I was 5 of all time, she goes, "That stupid little dictionary," and like chucked it across the room. And I didn't know she had so much hate
Damn.
but she's also the person who in grade school we would be doing like vocab together. We had these orange vocab books.
Mm-hmm.
And so after school we'd get on the phone and we'd go over our homework together. We were nerds.
Do you know what
But
this word
we
means?
got really good grades. But anyway, I was not a strong vocab girl. And so whenever we did our vocab homework, because we would do this where we would go through like, what'd you get for this? Did you get the same thing? And so for vocab, I would always try to get her to give me her answers first so that I could be like, oh yeah, that's what I got too. But she was not a fool to my tricks. She'd be like, no, you have to tell me your words. So it was that same best friend who's throwing my dictionary across the room years later. We're still friends.
I know. What's your favorite word then?
I don't have a favorite word. Anyway, candor.
Yeah.
My boss in college said that about me, and then I had to look it up, and I was like,
What's it mean?
frank, straightforward, to the point,
Honesty?
no bullshit.
Yeah.
So I live by that.
This is pretty pathetic, but I'd never heard the word candor until the movie Divergent came out. Because it was like one of those things. No, I agree with your position on words though. I when I was growing up, I really hated the fact that you had to learn all these big words and all that stuff, and I was like, this is kind of bullshit. Like these words are outdated. We don't need to use these anymore. But then as I have gone through life, more and more of those words like have become useful.
Oh, well, I think it's interesting now that I'm thinking about this because we did have vocab books, but it was basically like a dictionary with some worksheets in it. But I don't think it was taught very well because I don't remember my teachers outside of like vocab class using any of these words. So you learn the word one time for a week and then you forget all about it because nobody's using it.
Yeah. So maybe there's more implementation that's needed, but also, I mean, what I guess like society and culture changes how how things, how the spoken word and the written word is used. I mean, because like Old English isn't used that much anymore, to my knowledge.
No.
Yeah, but what do you think language is going to look like in like 20, 30 years? You think it'll be better or worse? That's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could go either way, I guess.
I mean, I think the easier argument's probably worse.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what everybody thinks is like the next generation's always going to do things like worse than the last generation did. So it's kind of loaded.
I mean, yeah, it's probably just like how when spell check became a thing, people didn't know how to spell words as well because it would just automatically correct them. But I think with AI writing things for you, just naturally, you're probably not gonna. But maybe it'll be like I'll know more words because if AI is writing things for me, then it's using words that I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, Henry told me some absurd fact about AI that like every time you like go to process something with AI, it uses like a gallon of water to cool. Well, because
Probably.
yeah, because it has to cool all the like GPUs and
Yeah.
processing centers and all that. It's all like liquid cooled. Blew my mind. I was like,
But yeah, but you can probably reuse that water. It's not like it.
I mean maybe, but either way, like I had that's not something that I had factored in as like a cost in my head. But
Yeah, I don't know.
so if you had a magic wand.
Did you use this yesterday?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
But if you had a magic wand and could do absolutely anything in the world, what would you do?
Um, that's a bit
Bit too
like,
broad?
yeah.
All right. Okay. How about this? If you had a magic wand, actually, do you even like Harry Potter?
No.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yeah.
What's your opinion of it?
I think it's dumb.
Are we gonna let our kids watch Harry Potter?
No, because then I would have to watch it again.
Mm.
Okay. Everybody likes Harry Potter, so everyone has just been offended. And
Not everybody likes Harry Potter.
okay, 97% of people like Harry Potter. And I don't know why. I am on an island. Okay, my personality type, like if you do the Myers-Briggs, I'm the most unique personality type. Our houses, we literally like are an island of houses. We used to live on an island. Any personality test that I take, like I'm always getting the most rare one, which that's not a flex. It's just like I'm different. So status quo, like trendy things, unless I start them, which I did in high school, but we're gonna close the yearbook and not talk about that. I just am not on board with. For the most part. I mean, obviously some things can be hard to avoid, but on the bell curve of like early adopters to late adopters, I'm always a late adopter, which sometimes I don't like that because it's annoying because then I adopt to something that the rest of the world has figured out and I adopt late and then it's like, oh no, this actually is great. So I try to combat that a little bit, but I don't know, with Harry Potter, it's just for starters because when it came out, it was just a thing that everybody loved. like right there, I'm probably going to be like, oh, I don't know about that. And then I did start to read the book and I thought it was dumb. But then one time I read it on a road trip with my family in the car out loud in an accent. And that almost got me killed by one of my brothers. So that's maybe like a negative trauma
What
memory.
accent were you using?
I don't know. Probably English because that's the only one you really can do.
Can you give us an
No.
example?
No, maybe it
No?
was like, no, I don't know what accent it was. I'm sure it changed. I'm sure it was no accent. It was just a combination of other ones because I'm really bad at accents. Anyway, I have seen the movies because I am an earth dweller, like we talked about. Not all of them, because that would be absurd. I think I actually saw one in theaters. The one where there's the bathroom scene and the ghost girl in the bathroom, and it maybe like turns into a creature or something. I don't know. Everyone's gonna be yelling in the comments about my hate for Harry Potter, but it's fine. I stand by it. I just don't have time for it anyway. And I just thought it was weird, but people love it, and people really love it. And then people come at me with like, the writing is so good, and like, no, you can love it for you. That's great. I don't mind, but I just don't.
I respect it.
I don't.
This brought up an interesting thing, though. What's something that you were a early adopter of that became a fad or like became very popular?
Uh, Going to the gym, probably. Like when I started going to the gym, it was like there weren't really workout clothes. Like there wasn't, people didn't wear Lululemon, and like that's probably very millennial of me to say now. I think there are newer brands. I don't know them. I haven't adopted anything. um, what's something that yeah, probably that, because now it's really, I think, trendy to
Mm-hmm.
go to the gym, which kind of annoys me because look, I would go to the gym and like sometimes I take videos, definitely take pictures, post them on Instagram, the whole nine. But that was after I actually worked out,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people these days like to go to the gym, put it on the gram or on TikTok or whatever to say that they went to the gym, to like give that, like I'm a gym goer. So that
Yeah.
annoys me. Um, what was the question? What was I an early adopter of?
Yeah. What were you an early adopter of?
I don't know, trying to be healthy, I think.
I know one that
What?
you were an early adopter of.
What?
You told me about this one before, but you were like an OG early adopter of A, the Joe Rogan experience, and then
Oh, yeah.
B, the Morgan Wallen.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I saw Morgan Wallen in concert many moons ago, and he was opening for someone else. And I did know who he was, and I did like him. And it was like back when he had the long hair before he cut it and then went back to the long hair. I don't know what he has now. But yeah, now people are obsessed.
Yeah.
Grade A obsessed. And like I like Morgan Wallen, but I don't understand the obsession. So there's that.
Beats me.
What was the other one?
Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of Joe Rogan before I met you.
Yep. A long time ago. Probably 10 years at this point.
Dang, 2016?
Somewhere between 2016 and 2019 for sure.
Yeah.
I get like that period of time between 2016 and 2019 is kind of a blur. Like I mix up when things were happening because that those years kind of were all similar and very positive, good, but
Yeah, life
sometimes
was great.
yeah, sometimes and it was before I moved to Hawaii. So it was like after a breakup before I moved to Hawaii, there's just like years in there that were all good and a lot of fun. So I mix them up. You need to take a break?
Yep, let's take a quick break. Well, that's our afternoon conversation, hanging out while the toddler is not around.
toddler's waking up. So,
Yeah, we're gonna call it right there.
toodaloo. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.